Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beautiful Yacht Club here in Monaco for this Ocean Innovators platform. Today's event is one of many that's taking place, of course, during the Monaco Ocean Week, but it's particularly unique in the fact that it is entirely dedicated to innovation and cutting-edge technology, all in the hopes of conserving the world's marine resources and its oceans. Today, we're going to be focusing on the essential role of entrepreneurship and investment to develop a sustainable blue economy. Coming up today, 6 sessions that will bring together the best and the brightest innovators who have been handpicked by our co-conveners for today's event. Those co-conveners are Uplink, Friends of Ocean Action, the Sustainable Ocean Alliance, Barclays, Climate Tech, and the Solar Impulse Foundation, from which we will have the honor of having a keynote speech from the CEO and founder Bertrand Piccard at the end of the day today. Today's event is also being streamed online. I'd like to take a moment now to welcome everyone who is watching them from wherever they are around the world. You will all be able to ask questions after each session, whether that's here in person or at home via the QA function on the website that you're linked onto right now. If you would like to get the program or take a closer look at the bios of the different speakers, you can scan the QR code that's on the back of your badge right now. If you're home, you can always go on the Monaco Ocean Week website. Just one last reminder before we begin, I'd just like to remind everyone that you are, of course, more than welcome to post your reactions, your feelings, the discussions online with the hashtag MOW2022. And with that, let's get started with some words of welcome from the organizer of the Ocean Innovators Platform. Would you please welcome the CEO of the Prince Albert II Fondation of Monaco, Olivier Venden.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it's a real pleasure welcoming you all in the Principality of Monaco in person for this very first edition of the Ocean Innovators Platform, which is launched by the Foundation in the framework of the Monaco Ocean Week. Thank you very much indeed for having accepted our invitation. As you may know, the Monaco Ocean Week has been developed over the 5 past years, building up on the success of the Monaco Blue Initiative, which is a think tank inaugurated 13 years ago by His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco. The purpose of this think tank was to bring together scientists, decision makers, and representatives of the civil society in order to advance marine conservation and international governance issues. And for this 2022 edition, we strongly felt at the Foundation that there was a need to consolidate our program by devoting an entire day to marine-based solutions or innovations and to target experts in the field of business, finance, economy, and philanthropy. And while the threats on marine life are increasing, and let me just name a few: overfishing, illegal fishing, pollutions, among them plastics, unregulated high seas, deep sea mining, or the green gas emissions from the shipping industry. Despite these threats, the solutions to address them do exist, and they can at the same time create jobs, profits, and new markets. In their opening speeches on Monday at the Monaco Blue Initiative, His Serene Highness and John Kerry both urged us to avoid the status quo and to break the mold in order to shape bold actions needed for the global ocean. And as you know as well, scientists have been warning us for decades about the major ecological challenges and the serious consequences they have on the ecosystems, on human health, and on the interconnection between ocean, climate, and biodiversity. However, let's face it, can we now consider that we know and that the world really knows? Who read the latest IPCC report, which was published at the end of February, but was unfortunately overshadowed by the international geopolitical events? It was yet another reminder, it was yet another alarm of the situation that we are in with regard to global warming. The window for action is narrowing dangerously. This is something that in this room we know, and calling us for ambitious multidisciplinary approaches and multi-actors dialogues in order to, first, I would say, connect the dots between ocean climate and biodiversity issues. Second, connect science, policymakers, the civil society, of course, but also finance, business, and investors. Third, connect environmental challenges with the real economy. Fourth, promote, scale up, and leverage the existing solutions to bring appropriate answers for nature, of course, but also new avenues for economic growth and jobs. And fifth, I would say, break silos in the disciplines and actions to challenge the investments where they are mostly needed. So this is the spirit of this new Ocean Innovators platform that brings us together today. This is how we will refuse the status quo and build the necessary bridges between different worlds that don't always know how to co-design and how to build from each other's expertise or experience. Dear friends, today we will meet and hear from entrepreneurs and committed leaders who have developed innovative solutions or cutting-edge technologies with a significant positive impact on 5 issues that are at the heart of the action of the Foundation. And I will name it: blue carbon, seafood, coastal sustainability, regenerative aquaculture, and plastic pollution. We will also discuss with remarkable impact investors who will share their expertise and approach to investing. And in order to provide the most effective discussions and great connection opportunities, the Foundation has collaborated with great entities. And I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our partners and co-organizers of the Ocean Innovative Platform, Barclays Private Bank, the Solar Impulse Foundation, Climate Tech, Friends of Ocean Action and Uplink, as well as the Sustainable Ocean Alliance. Thank you dearly for your commitment, enthusiasm, advice, and active support along the preparation of this event. My special thanks also to Romain Ciarlet, who seamlessly coordinated the organization of this very first edition with the support of Olivier Storelli, the Foundation, and the Yacht Club of Monaco teams. Thank you to our moderators, panelists, and guests for joining us in Monaco, joining us in this effort in order to take part in this intense and quite diversified program. We're delighted to see you in person, and I wish you very fruitful meetings. Thank you.
Olivier, thank you very much. Today's Ocean Innovator Platform has been officially endorsed by the United Nations as part of the UN's Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. From 2021 to 2030, the UN Ocean Decade will build on years of achievement in ocean science to get the science we need for the ocean we want. To tell us a bit more about that now, would you please welcome from UNESCO's Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, the head of Marine Policy and Regional Coordination, and the Ocean Decade Coordinator, Julien Barbière.
Thank you very much for those introduction, and thank you again to Monaco for the leadership that is being demonstrated today, but over the years, of course, in really creating this dialogue between science, innovation, and technology, which is really at the heart of a UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. And in fact, some of you maybe were here yesterday, but we already started that discussion in really trying to create this dialogue through the event, which focused on enabling environment for innovative actions in ocean science, but really creating this dialogue. So I'm just going to say a few words about the decade, because the decade is really quite a unique opportunity and a unique chance to make a really big step change in the way we are delivering knowledge and the way we are using knowledge for societal benefits and environmental benefits. The background of the decade is that back in 2016, and I think we've talked about a lot, and Olivier just mentioned a lot of IPCC reports and scientific reports coming out, and the findings are stark. We are running out of time to manage our oceans sustainably. And to do that, and to help countries to achieve the sustainable development goals, we need the right investment in science, because SDGs are science intensive. We need to create collaboration across disciplines. We have major knowledge gaps when it comes to the ocean, the deep ocean, in the way the ocean is providing and sustaining ecosystem services. And not only that, but we need to have science that is not just good for diagnostic, but science delivering solutions. And this is why the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission started to promote this concept of a decade and really create a global coordinated framework to boost investment in science, innovation, and technology. And it's really about doing business in different ways, in the way we are designing the science, not just scientists, but really building a co-design approach with different stakeholders, the way we are partnering around science, the way we are funding it, and the way we are using it at the policy level and societal level. So this is really the ambition of the decade, which started last year. We have until 2030 to achieve our goals. But you should really see this decade as an action framework, which is really enshrined within the implementation plan, which is now endorsed by the United Nations. And the vision is really the science we need for the ocean we want. And to do that, the mission is to really deliver transformative ocean science for sustainable development. So the decade is really trying to achieve 7 societal outcomes. It's really where we want to be by 2030. We want a clean ocean, we want resilient ecosystems, we want a safe ocean, we want an accessible ocean where stakeholders have access to information, to data, to technology, to capacities to take action in their own domain. We also have identified 10 decade challenges, which are really the priority areas where we would like to see those investments. They are addressing ocean health, they are addressing the capacity of ecosystems to deliver services, we are looking at food production, we're looking at the ocean and climate nexus. So those are the kind of, the core priorities. But we also have priorities looking at the scientific infrastructure itself, because to be able to deliver solutions and knowledge on those 5 first challenges I mentioned, we need to have the right infrastructure in ocean observations, in data, in early warning systems, and in national infrastructures for science. And then for the last 3 ocean decade challenges, and I really invite you to look at the implementation plan, are more focusing on the capacities, the technologies, the access, the literacy about the ocean, and really the science policy interface so that we can really make sure that the science is being used for action. The way we work in the decade is really using a mechanism of call for decade action. So every year we issue 2 calls, which basically signal to the international community that we are looking for innovative actions in a certain set of domains. We have already issued two calls last year, and we will be issuing on 15th of April a new call, which resulted in the endorsement of about 31 global programs, which are addressing deep sea ecosystems, ocean observation, cultural aspects, because we're not just talking about oceanography here. We're talking about a really diverse set of knowledge systems that really need to be tapped. We have a lot of UN actions that are also put together, and those actions really, the idea is not that they are not working in the individual bubble, but really create an ecosystem of actions which can create synergies, which can work in identifying priorities for the future and co-design actions in those areas. So in that context, resource mobilization is also very important. The decade is not a financing mechanism, but it is really about creating an enabling environment for delivering support, investments, and funding around those actions. So to do this, we work with different type of stakeholders. We are also putting in place different type of mechanisms like co-sponsored call for actions, where we try to identify resource providers who are willing to invest in specific areas, whether it's climate change, coastal resilience, food production, and really align the process so that we have the funding and we have the great ideas that are coming out from the communities. In terms of engagement, because you should really see this decade as a space for collaboration among different type of stakeholders. We work, of course, with governments, and at the national level, we are engaging the ministries which are dealing with ocean matters. We have more than 25 national decade committees that have been created around the world, and hopefully we will have many more to come. We work at the regional level because it's also important to create collaborations amongst nations that are sharing a common ocean basin. So we have a number of regional task groups in the Med, in the Arctic, in the Caribbean region, which are also looking at specific areas and decade actions. We work with philanthropy, and Olivier has not mentioned this, but through the Prince Albert II Foundation, We are working through a network of philanthropic organizations, and next year we will have a pleasure to come back to Monaco to be hosted to really try to also develop more collaboration with the philanthropic world in investing in some of those areas. Private sector is also very important. We are now creating a group of entities who are interested in partnering in research, in also looking at how creating this co-design dialogue and really trying to understand what companies, industry need from science in terms of information, in terms of products, and try to build partnerships around those. And of course, the issue of innovation and technology is at the heart of all of this. We need to leverage the technology to achieve some of the decade goals. We have, as I mentioned, knowledge gaps, but that also means that we don't have systems for monitoring some deeper part of the ocean on a real time. So how can we really try to develop, new technologies, remotely operated, also how we integrate the data, which is also a major challenge that we're trying to address in the decade, to really get a much more exhaustive picture of the ocean and the impact of humans on the ocean. So I think in closing, what I want to say is that, please use the decade. This is not just a UN initiative far away from your concerns. We want to really have a dialogue with you, and I think the decade can prepare and offer a structured dialogue with science and ocean innovators and create bridge and partnerships. We want to also hear what are your needs, so in this concept of co-design, how can we, leverage the research to really deliver solutions which are needed by the end users. We can also see how the general and the scientific community can generate metrics and generate knowledge products to inform decision-making in investment. We have new decade programs on blue carbon, on blue food, on coastal resilience. So we can really tap and use these communities to work on those areas. And again, I mentioned the co-sponsored calls for actions, which also provide a mechanism for really aligning the resources with the actions. So with this, I thank you very much again for this opportunity, and it's been great to be here this week, and we look forward to seeing you in the near future and certainly in Lisbon for those of you who will be in Lisbon. Thank you very much.
Julian, thank you very much. Well, more and more countries, companies, and institutions are indeed committing themselves to reaching carbon neutrality by 2050. But in addition to reducing emissions, capturing carbon is a key tool in reaching that goal. We're going to focus on that now with our first session, co-convened with the Sustainable Ocean Alliance. It will focus on exploring essential innovations in climate mitigation and blue carbon. Would you please welcome with me now our panelists for this session. We have Dr. Brian van Hertzen, who'll be joining us virtually from Australia, our moderator. Aminda Lee, also with us, Sam Zak, who will represent Dr. van Hertzen for us in person. Welcome. Anne-Sophie Roux, Emily Chary-Tissier. Welcome to all of you.